Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Garrett here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of July 11th, 2024. The current character challenge is Zatanna. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters are Harley Quinn, Bane, and Black Adam, who if you're looking at the easiest way to get each of them, you can get as a bronze, a silver, and a silver, respectively. Her passive is Deck of Fate, which is, and then it's sort of a second, there's a subtitle, pick a card, any card. Each card has one of 5 effects, regain 50% of health, damage over time, damage boost, power drain, or as in all black magic, it can backfire.
Black magic? All magic.
Or all magic, sorry. And her attack is 900, her health is 1,150. She's last available on the 5th of March, 2020.
And coincidentally, we last reviewed her on June the 4th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So, just one interesting thing, because based on the packs from last week, our guess would have been Regime Killer Frost, because that was the only new pack that had a character that was one of the missing challenge characters. Totally unrelated, Zatanna. The interesting part is, Zatanna and Regime Killer Frost both have the same required characters.
Yeah.
Both of their challenge need Harley Quinn, Bane, and Black Adam, which is weird to me. Like, I don't know if there's any real coincidence there, or it's just...
It might just be a coincidence, yeah, but it's interesting.
All right, so... we did her so recently. I don't know that there's anything new to say. She has an awful special, too.
Yeah, because her special, too, is her passive, right? The pick a card.
Right, and because there's 5 of them, they go through too fast to pick. There's a 1 in 5 chance that you're going to stun yourself after doing some damage.
Yeah.
So the different things that can happen is, 1, you can regain health, 50% of your health, which is the pale blue Zatanna card. You get damage over time, which is very low damage, 8% of the damage stat over 3 seconds, which is the yellow Deathstroke. Mm-hmm. You can get a damage boost, a 50% damage boost, red Wonder Woman, but you lose it on tag out. Power drain, and that's the blue Batman. And you can drain all their power if it's unblocked. And then the last one is you stun yourself, which is a green Joker card. And the wiki says it can be negated by block. And I'll tell you what, I never remember to block it. If I get Joker, I am literally stunned there. Even before I get stunned, I'm too stunned to even block.
Mm-hmm. And if that's not bad enough, right? Because these abilities aren't great. Like 8% damage over time. You know, even the 50% damage boost is good, but not great.
Well, yeah.
But you don't even get a minigame. So it always does minimum damage that it says on the special. And so you basically get half damage, despite the fact that this is her whole passive. So that's the kind of damage that you'd expect from, you know, getting a stun or a power drain or something, a secondary effect. But it's also her entire passive, so it really just feels like a wasted passive.
Right. And so even the thing that I might be interested in the damage boost, right, to make up for the fact that she's got reduced damage, you lose it on tag out. Like, it actually rinses like damage over time would. And if she's your specialist and you've just spent 2 bars of power and now you're potentially vulnerable, if you've geared her with Tanty Master's Death card, neither one of those is going to help you standing there in front of the opponent with no power on one of the lower stat older challenge characters.
It's true.
I'm always tagging her out is the problem. So what else? Her basics aren't anything special. Her special one, it also has a status effect, which is damage over time, which is burning. So the damage of special one is also halved. Of note is that her special one shoves pretty hard. As something separate from Master's Death card. When you tag in, it shoves them, but when you do a special one, it shoves, so that it potentially saves or against someone with an unranged special, or any opponent that won't start a special at a distance.
Yeah.
So any Superman, including Injustice 2 Superman, which is the one that I worry about the most in the fights, Arkham Knight, for example. So I mean, it's a plus. It's not enough to make up for all of the rest of it. That shove, though, it buys the time to tag out and steal the opponent's power with Raven if you're going to be using her on a team like that. It really shows you how good the Raven Hawkgirl team is, that it can make somebody even like Zatanna still useful, but her damage is so low that you're stuck. In order to get full sort of value out of Tanty Totem, you need to knock out your opponent. Her low damage means that there's a very good chance that on the first tag and she's not knocking out the opponent.
Yeah.
So it just makes the fight drag on needlessly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're about 11 weeks into this new cycle where we're expecting new stuff. And as we just saw this week, it's hard to predict sort of what new character they're inserting.
Right.
But based off of the pattern, they've been doing new character and then sort of where we would expect to be in the cycle regularly. Yeah. So next week is going to be a regular cycle character if the pattern continues, which we can say with a much higher degree of confidence is New 52 Superman. And then 2 weeks from now, who knows?
Right. The really good news is that they haven't switched, right? So that there's a very good chance we're going to eventually work our way through that whole list of characters that have been unavailable for 4 years.
Yeah, us guessing wrong kind of doesn't matter. The important part is that the pattern continues approximately how we're expecting it to.
Yeah.
This week's multiplayer reward is Scarecrow's Mask, which becomes Scarecrow's Ventilator Mask. When it's maxed out, it gives you a 40% block special damage back at the opponent. On tag in, healing is negated for 10 seconds, and the evolved ability, which is on tag in, 100% chance to hide enemy players' character icons. This was last available on the 7th of December 2023. We've had a pattern for a very long time. For these rewards, we expect next week to be Arkham Origins Deadshot.
And that'll be the end of the 5th cycle, and we'll be back to the beginning of the cycle again.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah. So it's kind of an irony that the cycle always goes from the most important piece of gear in the game, Tantu Totem, and then the week after, it's maybe the worst of the legendary gears.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that, the fact that you don't even get it until you evolve the gear. Usually you evolve a gear, you get something
the best
really
ability, but this one is hide player icons, which you don't care about, right? The AI doesn't seem to have any sort of strategy when they're swapping people
they're taken randomly.
So who cares? It makes no difference. Right. And if it's happening against you, at worst, it's annoying. Yeah. And at best, you don't care at all, right? So there's no real, it doesn't feel fun or good to ever have happen. If it's happening to you, it doesn't feel fun or good, but it also doesn't feel impactful.
So that means that it potentially has value if you put it on your defensive team that you leave in against other players. It only helps a little bit potentially against a live player who's not really paying attention to where their characters are.
Yeah, because it doesn't swap them around, right? If you remember, you can still actually use that information. So it's really just laughably bad. There's no real value to that ability at all.
So reflecting block specials damage is okay as long as any reduced damage is from gear effects. Otherwise, you need to take some damage to get benefit from it. Mm-hmm. And negating healing for... the idea is good, but it's such a short period of time. It almost never has an impact on the fight, because for that short period of time that you would have been, or the opponent would have been, or you would have been doing a special that would heal you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like it's pretty much useless.
Dealing more damage is always better than negating healing, because negating healing only comes up sometimes, and it almost never makes a huge difference in the fight.
Yeah.
Dealing more damage comes up all the time that you're dealing that type of damage, and will make a difference in a fight way more often.
So in case it's not clear, there's not enough value in this gear to make it worth one of your 9 slots on your team.
Yeah, this is only really worth it if you're collecting, right? Yeah. There's no strong value.
Yeah.
Moving on to the store, we have the Superman New 52 bundle. That is $24.99 Canadian. Price in Canadian because that's where we are.
Because that's the only currency that matters.
Yep. It's our corroborating clue to next week's challenge. Comes with 100,000 power credits. Doesn't unlock a copy in your store. This is a better clue slightly than some of the ones that we've had in the past for what's coming up next week, but it's still not, guaranteed. But next week is not super up in the air anyways. We also have the character bundle Woman of Power in for its second week, also $24.99. We have the Justice League pack into the store, also $24.99. Comes with Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman Regime. So Superman and Wonder Woman are both available in the store, and Aquaman is a challenge character.
Yeah, so if it's not clear, that's also not worth it. Aquaman was one of the Lost Challenger characters that actually came back very recently.
Would have been a lot more valuable not too long ago.
Yeah. So a bunch of other packs have been around for years, literally. Mm-hmm. So not worth talking about. Phantom Zone has one more week left. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Zod, Aquaman, and Shazam. This coming weekend is probably Catwoman, Deathstroke, and Raven. There's a link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. Mm-hmm. And so this is where we usually talk about glitches.
Or well, we sometimes talk about glitches.
I mean, we talk about it at least a little bit, even if not in detail, right?
Yeah. So last week's video, the one for the 4th of July, is our sort of more complete discussion. We would, if anything changes, we'd let you know here. Nothing has changed. So the only real important thing is that the challenge reset has been tested and confirmed to be working on Regime Killer Frost, as well as, or sorry, not Regime Killer Frost. We were expecting it to be Regime Killer Frost. It's been tested on Zatanna. And we have also checked that the Phantom Zone reset is also working. And just a reminder that if you reset either of those, progress on either of those, you reset progress on both of those. So just make sure to be willing to lose your progress on them when you use the reset.
Yeah.
To finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. That is Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi127, Nora Klimek, and Paolo-Cesar-Pablo-Juan for supporting us on the credited level, as well as 5x5 supporting us on the gratitude level. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.